Welcome to the Aau Tv Mid-Week News, and we're coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. And to our top stories for today, Forum for African Women Educationalists Aau Ghana unveils strategic plan to advance girls' education. Africa steps up Mpox response amid widening outbreak. And US tariffs threaten Ivory Coast cocoa farmers' livelihood. Pope Francis dies at age 88 following stroke and heart failure. Please stay with us for more news on the Aau TV Midweek News. My name is Chimaima Adelaide. Welcome back from the break into our higher education story. The Forum for African Women Educationalists Aau Ghana chapter, with support from the MasterCard Foundation, has launched a new strategic plan in Phase 2 of the Aau MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program. The program, which was held last week, Thursday, 17th April 2025, is set to benefit over 1,000 young people across Ghana and aims to promote gender equity in education, particularly in TVET and STEM fields.
Held at the Lisa Hotel, the event brought together key stakeholders including Honorable Samuel Fosu Ampofo, Policy Advisor to the Office of the Vice President, and officials from the Ministries of Education and Gender. The program highlighted the unveiling of a new Aau logo and the signing of an MOU with the Ministry of Education to strengthen collaboration. Speaking with Madame Araba Botre, Executive Director of Admissions and Financial Aid at Ashesi University and overseer of the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program, she highlighted Ashesi's commitment to supporting Aau's vision.
In 2012, we got funding to receive the first set of MasterCard Foundation scholars, typically from the bottom 2 quintile of the socio-economic ladder. In the ensuing year, some of our students, especially the girls, have come from the Aau network. That's Aau Ghana, Aau Kenya. And so we've had opportunity to work with them and their girls over the years. And so with the launch of the Phase 2, we thought it was important to reconfirm or reaffirm our commitment to this partnership that would foster inclusion, equity amongst the partners.
The 7-year project targets youth aged 15 to 25 across 10 African countries. In Ghana, at least 1,100 students, including girls and boys, will benefit from leadership training and access to quality education in STEM and TVET disciplines. From Uganda, Christine Naminajo, a pioneer alumna of the Aau Scholars Program and student of the Kampala University in Uganda, shared how the initiative transformed her life.
I did the HEC program in 2021, and this HEC program gave me a second chance to pursue my course dream as a medical doctor. I'm currently in my year 4 doing medicine and surgery at Kabale University. I faced a lot of financial constraints along that journey, and I'm so glad that Aau Uganda took me up and supported me till now.
Representing the Office of the Vice President, Honorable Ofosu Ampofo reiterated the government's commitment to educational advancement. He joined Aau Africa Board Chair, Honorable Aisha Ba Diallo, in applauding the strategic vision and historical contributions of the network. In her address, Honorable Diallo praised Ghana's Vice President for shaping the strategic direction of Aau and recognized former board chair Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman for her impactful leadership in 2017. The Aau Ghana strategic plan is expected to guide sustainable actions toward educational transformation and calls on all stakeholders, government, civil society, and international partners to work collectively for lasting change.
Government Kibabi University researchers have secured a $8,900 grant from UNESCO's International Center for Martial Arts to combat gender-based violence through self-defense training. Starting May 2025 in Bongoma County, the initiative will use martial art to empower girls and women with physical and psychological resilience. With Olympic Faith Ogalo as lead coach, the project aims to create a model for using sport to advance safety and gender equity across Kenya.
In Kenya's Bungoma County, a new chapter in gender empowerment is taking shape through martial arts. Backed by an $8,900 grant from UNESCO's International Center of Martial Arts, Kibabi University is rolling out a self-defense program designed to equip girls and women with more than just physical strength. The initiative blends movement, discipline, and strategy, turning martial arts into a tool for building confidence, awareness, and resilience in communities often affected by gender-based violence. With Olympic Taekwondo athlete Faith Ogalo leading the charge as head coach, participants will gain skills not only to defend themselves, but also to stand firm in everyday life. Launching in May 2025, the program will reach schools and community groups, offering training sessions that aim to transform fear into empowerment. As the project gains momentum, it sets the stage for a broader movement, one where sports are not just for competition, but for protection, awareness, and change.
The Africa Center for Disease Control, CDC, and WHO have revised their continental response plan as Mpox spread to new parts of the continent. The updated approach emphasizes outbreak control, expanded vaccination, and integration of response measures into long-term health system. Over 1 million vaccine doses have been distributed across affected countries, and laboratory capacity has grown rapidly, especially in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Despite these efforts, insecurity and financial constraints continue to hinder progress in high-risk areas.
Africa CDC and the World Health Organization have updated their joint continental response plan for the ongoing Mpox emergency as the disease continues to expand into new regions. The revised strategy emphasizes outbreak control, expanded vaccination coverage, and a shift toward long-term integration of Mpox management into routine health systems. Mpox, a viral illness spread mainly through close contact, causes painful skin lesions and flu-like symptoms. Once primarily transmitted from animals, newer strains such as Clade IIB and Clade IB have increasingly spread between people, including through sexual contact and within households. Following the emergence of Clade IB in late 2023, Africa CDC declared a public health emergency of continental security, while WHO declared a global emergency by August 2024. The outbreak, originally centered in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, has since spread to 28 countries globally. Within Africa, local transmissions have been reported in Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and the Republic of Congo, South Africa, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Zambia. Regional and global support has since increased, particularly for the DRC. The Continental Mpox Plan focused on 10 core areas, including surveillance, laboratory expansion, and vaccination, has guided response efforts. More than 650,000 doses of vaccine have been administered across 6 countries, with 90% delivered in the DRC. Over 1 million doses have been shipped to 10 countries as efforts to continue to secure more supply. Diagnostic capacity in the DRC has grown dramatically from 2 labs in late 2023 to 23 across 12 provinces, supported by the rollout of near point-of-care testing. However, significant challenges remain. Armed conflict and insecurity in eastern DRC, coupled with humanitarian aid cuts, continue to limit access to health services. Across all countries, over $220 million is still needed to close funding gaps. The updated response plan calls for the intensified efforts to bring outbreaks under control while integrating Mpox into essential health services. WHO has also revised its global strategy in alignment with the Continental Plan. In just the first 2 months of 2025, 60 countries have reported Mpox cases, with most infections and deaths occurring on the African continent. Africa CDC and WHO continue to coordinate with national governments, communities, and global partners to curb transmission, control the outbreak, and build lasting resilience across public health systems.
Please stay with us for Discovery News after the break.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
I'm here with the Association of African Universities Television, AU TV. I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it, AU TV.
The voice of higher education in Africa.
Welcome back from the break and to our Discovery story. A restaurant in Havana is capturing international attention not for its cuisine but for its high-tech service. Donna Alicia has introduced a robot waiter, drawing crowds into a country more known for vintage charm than digital innovation. The move marks a small but symbolic shift in Cuba's evolving tech landscape, where access remains limited but ambitions is clearly growing.
In a city famed for its vintage charm more than its tech scenes, a Havana restaurant is making headlines for an unexpected innovation, a robot waiter. Located in the heart of Cuba's capital, Donna Alicia has embraced futuristic dining by integrating digital tools into its customer service. What started with tablet menus and voice assistants through Amazon's Alexa has now evolved into full robotic service. Despite Cuba's frequent power outages and limited access to advanced technology, the restaurant forged ahead, introducing a robot that navigates between tables, delivers food, interacts with guests, and even bids them farewell. Diners have responded with enthusiasm. One local customer described the experience as something straight out of a film, saying that the robot not only brought her meal, but also engaged in polite conversations and gestures that made the visit memorable. For international guests, the appeal is just as strong. A tourist from Japan noted the convenience of ordering with just a tap, especially when language barriers might otherwise complicate communication. According to restaurant manager Yadil Hernandez, the decision to introduce the robot was bold and tactical. He explained that the move has drawn a wider customer base, intrigued by the novelty of high-tech hospitality in an unlikely setting. While robotic servers are familiar sights in countries like Japan and South Korea, they remain a rare spectacle in Cuba, where infrastructure limitations often hinder such advances. Nonetheless, the investment appears to be paying off, attracting both foot traffic and social media attention. Cuba's tech landscape has evolved significantly in recent years. Since mobile internet became widely accessible in 2018, over 70% of Cubans are now online, opening the door to innovations like this. As Donna Alicia's robot continues to turn heads, it signals a broader shift in how tradition and technology are blending on the island.
The Confederation of African Football has imposed fines on Mamelodi Sundowns and Esperance following violent fan clash during their Olympic League quarter-final match in Pretoria on April 1st. Sundowns are fined $100,000, whilst Esperance received $150,000 penalty. Both clubs will be competing in the expanded FIFA Club World Cup in the United States this June.
The Confederation of African Football has imposed fines on two top clubs following fan violence during an African Champions League quarter-final clash. South Africa's Mamelodi Sundowns, owned by CAF President and FIFA Vice President Patrice Motsepe, has been fined $100,000 for breaching security protocols during their April 1 home match against Tunisia's Esperance. CAF emphasized that Sundowns must fully adhere to safety measures laid out in its regulations, particularly for upcoming fixtures. Esperance, meanwhile, has been handed a $150,000 penalty for fan misconduct related to clashes in the stands during the same match. Sundowns secured a 1-0 win in the first leg in Pretoria and progressed to the semi-finals after a goalless draw in Tunis. They now face Egyptian side Al Ahly on Saturday in the first leg of the semi-finals. Both Sundowns and Esperance have already qualified for the expanded 32-team FIFA Club World Cup set to take place in the United States this June. Their qualification was based on the consistent performances in the CAF Champions League over the last 4 years. In the Club World Cup, Sundowns will compete in the group alongside Ulsan Hyundai of South Korea, Borussia Dortmund of Germany, and Brazil's Fluminense, with matches scheduled in Orlando, Cincinnati, and Miami. Esperance will face Chelsea, Flamengo, and a yet-to-be-confirmed opponent after Mexican side Leon was disqualified due to shared ownership with another qualified club, Pachuca. Esperance's group stage matches will take place in Philadelphia and Nashville. Leon is set to appeal FIFA's decision at the Court of Arbitration for Sports in Madrid on May 5. The inaugural 32-team FIFA Club World Cup runs from June 14 to July 13 across 11 cities in the U.S.
Grammy-winning Nigerian artist Burna Boy has made history as the first African artist to headline and sell out 80,000 capacity Stade de France in Paris. The April 18th concert attracted over 80,000 fans and featured surprise guest performance, reinforcing Burna Boy's global status and influence in the music industry.
A historic night was made in Paris as Burna Boy took the stage at one of the world's most iconic venues, Stade de France. The stadium was packed with more than 80,000 fans, all there to witness a masterclass in music, energy and showmanship. From the opening beats, the atmosphere was electric. Nisi and Fireboy DML lit up the crowd with a dynamic performance, setting the pace for an unforgettable night. When Burna Boy appeared, the crowd erupted, hit after hit. He took fans on a musical journey rooted in Afrofusion, with rhythm, visuals and stage presence that left no one standing still. And just when the energy picked surprise guests, Charlie Poppy joined him for a remix that set social media ablaze, followed by crowd favorites Joe Duefal, Daju and UK rapper Dave, each adding a unique layer to the night. This wasn't just a concert, it was a celebration of African creativity and cultural pride on a global stage. Burna Boy didn't just headline Stade de France, he made history and brought the entire continent with him.
Cocoa farmers in Ivory Coast are facing increased uncertainty following the United States' imposition of a 21% tariff on cocoa import, now replaced with a 10% universal tariff. The move affects the country's top exports to the U.S., compounding challenges already caused by poor weather and global price hikes. With cocoa contributing up to 20% of national GDP, Ivorian authorities are exploring new markets as demand softens and production costs climb.
Cocoa, often dubbed brown gold, is the economic backbone of Ngatagru, a village in central Ivory Coast. On a national scale, more than 6 million Ivorians rely on cocoa cultivation to sustain their livelihoods. However, Uncertainty clouds the future of this vital sector after the US government announced a 21% tariffs on Ivorian exports earlier this April, a move introduced by President Donald Trump. Farmers in the region say that the impact is already evident. One farmer, Salif Traore, expressed concern over the declining cocoa prices and said the new US trade policy is worsening their conditions rather than offering any support. Cocoa remains Ivory Coast's leading export in the United States, but alongside a season already disrupted by poor weather, the condition strains of tariffs are amplifying worries. Union coordinator Boss Diarra noted that warehouses are now filled with unused cocoa. He explained that the new tariffs have discouraged buyers, making it difficult for farmers to get their produce to market. As the top cocoa producer globally, surpassing Ghana, Ivory Coast relies heavily on the commodity, which contributes between 15 to 20% of the national GDP. The government has also voiced its concerns over the new trade restrictions. Government spokesperson Amadou Coulibaly acknowledged that although only 4% of the country's trade is with the US, it mainly involves critical exports like cocoa, rubber, and cashew nuts. While President Donald Trump has introduced a temporary 90-day suspension on some of the tariffs, a broad 10% tariff still applies. In response, officials in Abidjan are now looking to diversify trade partnerships, with Europe seen as a potential alternative. But shifting markets may not offer immediate relief. Global chocolate demand has stagnated and cocoa prices continue to fluctuate, partly due to climate change, which has brought about erratic rainfall and poor harvests in recent seasons. With multiple pressures mounting, the outlook for Ivory Coast cocoa farmers remain deeply uncertain.
Pope Francis has died at the age of 88 after suffering a stroke that led to coma and heart failure. The Vatican confirmed his death on Monday, April 22, 2025. Known for his compassion, reform-minded leadership and commitment to the marginalized, Pope Francis led the Catholic Church through a decade of significant change. His passing set in motion the centuries-old tradition of the papal conclave, where eligible cardinals will meet in the Sistine Chapel to elect a new pope. His final will requests a humble burial beneath the Basilica of St. Mary Major.
The Vatican has announced the death of Pope Francis, who passed away following complications from a stroke that led to a coma and ultimately heart failure. The confirmation came Monday from Dr. Andrea Arcangeli, head of the Vatican's health department. Francis, who had battled chronic lung disease throughout his life and had part of one lung removed in his youth, was hospitalized earlier this year for over a month due to a severe respiratory infection that progressed into double pneumonia. His passing marks the end of a papacy defined by humility, reform, and a strong call for compassion, peace, and care for the marginalized. In keeping with Vatican traditions, preparations are now underway for the election of a new pope. The conclave, a secretive gathering of eligible cardinals inside the Sistine Chapel, will soon be convened to choose a successor. On Monday, the Vatican also made public Pope Francis's final will and spiritual testament dated June 29, 2022. In the brief message, he requested to be laid to rest in a modest underground tomb at the Basilica of St. Mary Major, beneath the image of the Virgin Mary, to whom he held deep devotion. His burial site will bear only the name Franciscus. Francis expressed gratitude to those who had supported him in prayer and asked that such prayers continue. He wrote that the suffering in his final years was offered to God in hope of global peace and unity among all peoples. Pope Francis succeeded Pope Benedict XVI, who in 2013 became the first pontiff in nearly 6 centuries to resign. Benedict's papacy was marked by theological conservatism and a quieter demeanor. Following his resignation, he lived in seclusion in Vatican City until his own death in 2022. The Catholic world now enters a period of mourning and reflection as the Church prepares for its next chapter.
Now, thank you for staying with us, and we'll take a quick recap of our top stories. Fawe Ghana unveils strategic plan to advance girls' education. Africa steps up Mpox response amid widening outbreak. Ivory Coast cocoa farmers face uncertainty as US tariffs threaten livelihood. And Pope Francis dies at age 88 following stroke and heart failure. Now, thanks for sticking with us on the AAU TV Midweek News. You can also follow us on our social media platforms, Association of African Universities, on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Chimaima Adeladem Tuche. Have a nice day.